What is going on, my dummies, and welcome back to another Digimon Deck Tech. In today's episode, we're going over two decks, but it is essentially the same deck. This is RagnaLoardmon Red first, and then we're going over the black variation for set 1.5. Now, I know that you're seeing the Ludomon here, which is a black card. Do not look at that card as a red card. Look at that card as an option card at this point. I'm not going to hybrid build these. These are mono red and mono black. Like, there's no Digivolutions. As you can see, my Digitama, they're red. Like, I'm not going to play the black cards and the red cards together. I don't recommend it. If you wanted to play more competitively, I would recommend you stick to one color or the other. And if you can't afford everything and you still want to play both, just switch between the two decks. You can't play them at the same time, so just switch between the two. But without further ado, I'm going to get into it. So starting off for our list, we have a 4-of Gigimon as a Digitama. His inheritable skill is during our turn, if our opponent has 5 or more cards in their trash, we gain plus 1,000 power. Pretty good card. Now when set 4 comes out, Greatest Legends, or Great Legends comes out, this gets replaced and it'll take up Koromon's spot with the other Digitama there. But until then, Gigimon is a pretty good choice. Next up we have Koromon. Koromon gives us 1,000 if we have 4 more Digivolution sources, so as long as it's level 6 or higher and we went from Koromon, it's going to have that plus 1k. So it's going to give us our 1k, it just doesn't give us early like Gigimon would. Next up we have Ludomon. Ludomon, think of him, like I said, as an optional card. Don't think of him as a rookie. He's 3 to play normally, 1,000 DP. When we play him, we reveal the top 5 cards of our deck. We add a Ragnalordmon and 1 Digimon with Legend Arms type to our hand and put the rest on the bottom. Now, the Legend Arms types is going to be located here on the card. I'm gonna point them out whenever we get to them so you know which ones they are. But yeah, he allows you to search him. Now remember, he can search for himself off the top, so if you don't get another Legend Arms, but you get like a Ragnalordmon, and you're like, great, you can grab the next one and be able to use it for the next top 5. So keep that in mind. Next up, we have Guilmon. He is 3 to play normally, 0 to evolve, 3,000 DP. If our opponent has 5 or more in trash, plus 1,000 power as an inheritable skill, just like Gigimon. We're playing him so we can get the extra power. We need the extra power in most cases because Ragnalordmon does die to Omnimon fairly quickly, so we want to be able to try to give him some power at that. So if we're able to get the Gigimon in the Guilmon, he'll be at 15, which isn't the greatest thing because after building this deck and playing around with it, I noticed that that's as high as we can really go without changing anything. So that's pretty much what we got on this. You just better hope there's not an Omnimon in the security checks. So yeah, I'll get to some options if you did decide that you wanted to play some more power increases, what you could play. So for that, we have the 4-of Guilmon, and I'm going to keep on moving on here. We got a 4-of Zubamon. Now, the reason I play a 4-of Zubamon and not a 4-of Ludomon, Zubamon is actually the red variation, so we can actually Digivolve on top of him if we need to. He's 3 to play normally, 1,000 DP, 0 cost to evolve. Same exact ability as Zubamon. So we look at the top 5. We had a Ragnalordmon and 1 Digimon with Legend Arms type to our hand, put the rest on the bottom. Now, he is a Legend Arm, so again, he can search for himself because he doesn't say another card, or he searched for Ludomon. So keep that in mind. Overall, he is a really good card for the deck. Like, you're able to play him, be able to use him as an option card, and then be able to play a card on top of him and start getting your making your way up toward Ragnalordmon. Next up, we have a 4-of Agumon. Now, notice I'm not playing a vanilla. Like I said, getting that power up is sometimes important. Like, the only thing you really worry about are the 2 Omnimons. Everything else you should be beating with a 1,000 power boost. So yeah, I like it. If you didn't want to play this, and I think I'm at a starter deck, yeah. I was looking over the starter decks before I did anything. You can play Guilmon if you wanted to play Guilmon over the Agumon. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. So keep that in mind, like the vanilla ones, or Monochromon. Another variation that you can play if you wanted to is like the Agumon. I really like this Agumon because it helps you starve or whatever. for the 1-2 evolve, but he also has 4,000 power, so he doesn't die to rookies. And he trades with some champions, so I really like the Agumon for that purpose. But yeah, if you didn't want to play this one, those are two options that you can replace him with. I'm just going to play the Agumon for now because I really want that 1,000 DP so I can get over the 13k bodies that are coming. Moving forward, we have our level 4s. The first one is our vanilla, 6 cost to play, 1 to evolve, 6,000 DP DarkTyrannomon. Just a vanilla, really beefy for a level 4, and 1 to evolve is always really good. Now, past this, I think everything is every level 4 is going to have an inheritable ability or ability to help us. This is just in case we just need to get to Ragnalordmon as quickly as possible kind of thing, or having an option. Next up, we have ZubaEagermon. He is a Legends Arm. He's 4 to hard play, 2 to evolve, 4,000 DP. He says during our turn, if our Digimon is level 7, we get security attack +1. Now, you would say to yourself, that's a pretty good card. Why are we only playing one of them? And it's because it's got to be a level 7. So if we get stuck at level 6 and we don't have the Ragnalordmon, we don't get the security attack. And there is another card that actually does this for us. So I'm going to move forward, and we're going to talk about Greymon before we talk to Coredramon. So Greymon is 5 to play normally, 2 to evolve, 4,000 DP. That just gives security attack +1, so we're able to get that extra. Now, if you find it inconsistent and you can't get to the Legend Arms, or you're not adding enough Legend Arms and you're seeing Greymon a lot, by all means, start replacing him with the Eager Zubamon. I don't see a reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. Because Greymon isn't a Legend Arms, you're not searching for it. Next up, we're going to move to the left back. It's Coredramon. It's our blocker. 5 to play normally, 2 to evolve, 6,000 DP. Blocker, -2 memory whenever we attack, but we're going to be a blocker with it most times. The blockers in this deck mainly are to stop Rookie Rush, of course, but it also is to protect our Ragnalordmon from people swinging at it, because red does have the advantage of being able to get a lot of power. Not black. Green can do it as well. So, like, we don't want people to attack it. But I guess he's got reboot, so it doesn't matter. So, just kind of ignore that little quote. Moving forward, we have a 4 of, or 2 are level 5s. We have a 4 of Lavogaritamon. Sorry. Giant Dragon. Or Wyvern. But 7 to play normally, 2 to evolve for level 5, 8,000 DP. Now, if you wanted to, you could play Guardromon in this spot because he costs a little bit less, but he also has less DP. I like the Lavogaritamon just in case I do get to the Greymon. I can make it a 9k body swinging at security, and there's not a lot that really challenges him whenever he swings at security that way other than level 6 and higher, and then security. So I kind of like him instead of the Guardromon because he's able to hit harder and not die to trades, if that makes sense. Moving forward, we have Duramon. Duramon is a 6 to play normally, 3 to evolve, 7 KDP. That is also a Legends Arm. He is definitely a Legends Arm. He says, during our turn, if this Digimon is level 7, security attack +1 as an inheritable skill. So this is just as Zubamon. Now, you look at it and you see I'm playing 4 of these instead of 1 of these like the Eager Zubamon, and that's because we don't really have any other inheritable abilities we really want. Now, if you did want another inheritable ability, we have this Lavogaritamon. I'm just going to say something at this point just to get it out of the way. You can play the MetalGreymon if you wanted to, that +3 memory whenever you get blocked. You can play him if you want. And I'll go ahead and show you the Guardromon. You can play him if you want to. Like I said, he's got less power, so he's not doing as much. You can also get away with playing the Garudamon, because the Garudamon is able to gain the Pierce. And you're able to draw a card whenever he gets blocked, which is also really good. So that's just some options that you can play. I don't think there's anything in set 2 that I would play over it. Personally, yeah. I mean, you got Guilmon, but I don't see the Guilmon being very good. His ability just gives +1k power. So, yeah, if you did want the +1k power, you see yourself playing against Omnimons more time than not, then, yeah, the War Guilmon would make a pretty good selection. And at the same time with that, If you didn't want to play the DarkTyrannomon, you find yourself dying to a lot of Digimon. You can also look at this Greymon that gives plus 2K. So you're gaining enough power to be able to swing over those Omnimon. So that's just some tidbits like of me thinking like you're playing a boss monster deck. When your boss monster falls, you hurt. So just keep that in mind. Just some food for thoughts is all. I'm going to move on from Duramon, and we're going to get to our level 6s. Now, again, I said this is a mono red variation, right? This is a black Digimon next. It is BryweLudramon. I hope I said that right. He has 10 to play normally, 12k DP, 3 to evolve on a black or red Digimon, and that's why we play him. For other reasons, too, because Ragnalordmon is in the deck. His inheritable skill, which he's one of only 2 level 6s that actually have an inheritable skill, he gives blocker. So it allows us to be able to block with our Ragnalordmon, who has reboot, so we can swing, stand him back, or activate him, and then he has blocker. So it's really hard to get past him, especially if we have the Gigimon and the Guilmon up under him. We're at 16. Omnimons can't swing through, so it's always a really good thing. Next up, we have Durandamon. It is a 10 to play normally, 3 to evolve on a black or red, and 12k DP, just like the other one. But instead of giving blocker as an inheritable skill, he gives pierce, so it's hard for our opponent to block him as well. Both of these are also legend arms that should be mentioned, so you can search for them with Ludomon and Zubamon, so that's always a plus. Moving forward, we have our boss monster, our Ragnalordmon. He is 14 to play normally, never going to happen. 3 to play on a red or a black, level 6, 4,000 DP. For some odd reason, my brain was messing up, and I thought it was 13k, so ignore everything I said about not having enough power. However, he has security attack +1. He has reboot, and then when we digivolve him, it's the most important thing in this deck. To my knowledge, is the most important thing to this deck. So what he does is, by adding 1 Durandamon, or by the red or the black level 6. I'm not doing this to you guys, I promise. From our hand to the top of his Digivolution sources, we gain +3 memory. So basically what that's going to do is make the Ragnalordmon free. So when we finally do get to the Ragnalordmon, we're able to just swing immediately. Like, I've had turns where I'll play one of the level 6s, just straight up hard play it on turn 1. And have the other one in hand with a Ragnalordmon. Next turn, go Ragnalordmon for free, put the other one up under it, swing for 2 security. That is game breaking. I will say that. That is something that you do not want to have happen to you, because your opponent has to deal with a 14k security attack +1, reboot, piercing, blocker. Which is really dumb in my opinion. It is insane. Some people think that they need to go from the bottom, and I do need to make sure that everybody's aware of that. You can play these level 6s or these level 5s and be able to get up to the Ragnalordmon, because Ragnalordmon is free. So if you know you're playing against the Omnimon deck, that's something you can do. You can go you can go one of the level 6s, and then if your opponent is able to get up to the Omnimon, and then you just have a Digimon sitting there that you can do something with, Now, with Ragnalordmon, I do like him in the deck. However, something else you can play in this deck, if you wanted to be a little bit different with it, you can play Omnimon Alter S. He is not a Legends arm, so you can't search him out with the Lubomon or the Zubamon. However, he does gain all the abilities from like the extra security attacks for your Zubamon and Duramon. He gains the +1 memory when you, no, that's in the black deck. Never mind. But yeah, you can play this Alter S if it comes down to it, if that's what you want to do. I, of course, like the Ragnalordmon. He is dear to my heart because this deck is pretty fun to play. I'm going to move on forward to a delicate plan. It is as a 2 of, is a 1 cost that says, during our main phase, one of our Digimon gets, if this Digimon security checks an option card, that card security does not activate until the end of turn. So basically what we're doing is we're making our Ragnalordmon big enough to where it's not dying to any security Digimon checks, And then we're also being able to use the Delicate Plan to swing for 4 security at one time. That's what our main goal is, to swing for 4 security. And since he will have Pierce, or 9 times out of 10 have Pierce off of the Durandamon, okay. We're swinging through blockers as well, so like we're piercing through it and we're hitting all this security. So like when we play this Delicate Plan, we are hoping that we're getting rid of all of our opponent's security and putting them in a position where if they don't do something immediately, they're going to lose. And that's what we want to be at. Finally, we have a 2-of Terra Force. Now, if you decided you didn't want to play the Delicate Plan was fine. You can move those over to Terra Forces. Like, I've even thought about taking out the Terra Forces and just putting them over in the Delicate Plan slot, or taking out the Lubomons and putting those in for Terra Forces. Whatever you want to do, those 6 cards in particular you can move around with. There's not a big deal on that. However you want to do it, like I said, I always try to say this in my videos. I do a 12 Rookie, 12 Champion, 5 Ultimate, 5 Mega split. The other 10 cards I call optional cards, and the optional cards can be anything from options, tamers, level 7s, stuff that doesn't fit in that core build of the first 40. So the Ragnalordmon counts toward those 4, so we're looking at a 2-of Terra Force, 2-of Delicate Plan, 2-of Ludomon. So if you don't want to play the Ludomon, you decide, yeah, this isn't for me, play 2 Terra Force, or play 2 Delicate Plan, so you know you're getting to your Delicate Plan and doing what you want to do. But overall, that is this deck. It's a pretty good one. Like I said, these are boss monster decks, so they're going to do something weird every time you play it. That's the best way to describe it. Like, you're going to get a big dude out, and if you get the big dude killed, then it feels bad. But overall, I do really, really, really enjoy this deck. But yeah, on to the next one. Alright guys, we are back and we are going over the black variation of this deck. Again, just in case you skipped forward to the black variation of this deck, these are monocolored decks. They are not hybrid decks. I'm building them mono red, mono black. I don't recommend you build them as a hybrid deck for both red and black, because that adds to inconsistencies that you can't take back later. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into this. Now, right now I have a 1-4 split of the Digitamas. For the black variation, it doesn't matter how you do this. If you decide you want to actually play more of the Kapurimon, by all means play more of the Kapurimon. If you like the Kakkinmon, then keep the Kakkinmon. But Kapurimon, we all know what it does. It's during your turn, if this Digimon has Reboot plus 1,000 power. Pretty good skill overall. Since Ragnalordmon does have Reboot, we're giving him plus 1,000 power, making him that 15 body that's going to matter later. And Kakkinmon, when we attack, as an inheritable skill, when we attack once per turn, this Digimon, if this Digimon is level 7, we gain plus 1 memory. So we're able to gain a little bit extra memory and be able to play an extra memory card without giving our opponent that extra memory. So pretty good Digitama. Red gets one in set 4, Great Legends. So like the red version, like I said in the other video, they will change up how they build stuff too. Moving forward, we're to our level 3s. We have Commandramon. Commandra's in here because of rookie vanillas. Black doesn't have a lot of rookies to play around with right now, like not a lot of inheritable skills, and it feels really bad. So yeah, just a regular vanilla. I just like how cute it is. You can play any vanilla. You can play Harugamon if you wanted to. I think this is the only other vanilla you can play, but yeah, just something. Next up, we have Ludomon. He's in here just like Zubamon is, or in the other deck. He is a 4-of, 3 to play, 0 to evolve onto, and 1,000 DP. When we play him, we search for the top 5 in our deck, add 1 Ragnalordmon and 1 Digimon with Legend Arm type to our hand, put the rest on the bottom. So as I go through, I said I was going to keep telling you which ones were the Legend Arm, so you guys know he is a Legend Arm, so he's able to search for himself off the top 5 if you need to. That's why he's here. He's able to add to consistency to get the boss monster out with the abilities. Next up, we have a 4 of Koromon. Now, this Koromon, it is a promo. We don't have any access to know if this promo is coming out yet or not. Now, I do want to say, if this Koromon is not out by then, some things you can play in its spot. You can play Koromon from set 1.0. That draws a card whenever another Digimon with the same name is played. You can play the Gatsumon. Oh, I added it to the deck, guys. I gotta get it out of here. You can add the Gatsumon, the blocker. And then on top of that, other cards you can add would be... I gotta scroll all the way down. You could add Chumon just because... but that's about all you can do with the deck. There's not a lot of rookies to play around with. They don't have a starter deck yet, so just keep that in mind. Like, this Koromon is good if we can get to it because we can give him blocker. We want to be able to give him this plus 1,000 so we can block Omnimons all day and not worry about it. So keep that in mind. This is one of those cards that is a maybe, and like I said, there's other options if we can't get these by then. Next up, we have Zubamon as a 3 of. Zubamon as a 3 of is basically an option card for us. We're able to look at the top 5. The three costs to play, 1,000 DP, so he's dying in security checks. On play, we look at the top 5 for a RagnaLoardmon Digimon card and 1 Digimon with Legend Arms type from among them to your hand. Put the rest on the bottom. That's all we're doing with it. We're just searching, and then we'll swing with it later. Of course, it's going to die 2 security checks, but it's fine. We don't really care much for that. Next up, we have Greymon. Now, the Black Greymon and Metal Greymon, I have noticed over the last few weeks that those 2 cards are really good for Black, and it's never dawned on me the fact that you can give jamming and you can give security attack +1 to 1 Digimon. Like, it's so good. But the Greymon's in here. He's a 4 to play normally, 2 to evolve, 4,000 DP. Inheritable skill is, during our turn, if this Digimon has Reboot, which RagnaLoardmon will, he also gains jamming. So we're able to swing and have jamming and not die to the Digimon in the security checks. Like, it's so good. It's so underestimated. Like, in my opinion, the black deck is better than the red deck because it's more of a slow, control-y type game than it is a hit you really hard, hope you can deal with this next turn. So, yeah. Next up, we have Guardromon. Guardromon is a 5 to play normally, 2 to evolve, 7,000 DP. He's got blocker, and he says during our turn, he can't attack, which is fine. We don't care if he attacks. He's a blocker. He's just slowing down the game for us. This is just our generic blocker. Black doesn't have a generic blocker, so this is why he's here. Next up, we have Ludomon. Now, Ludomon, and you can see him here, RagnaLoardmon, both of those are really good cards. Like I said, this is more of a control variation. Both of them do the same thing as Inheritable, but I will go over RagnaLoardmon in a minute. 4 to play normally, 2 to evolve, 4,000 DP. It says, when we attack, Inheritable skill, when we attack, if this Digimon is level 7, de-digivolve 1 to one of your opponent's Digimon. So we're taking the top card off of our opponent's Digimon. We're getting rid of blockers. We're getting rid of the level 6s. Like, if we can get to the RagnaLoardmon before they can get to their Omnimon, we prevent them from ever being able to go into their Omnimon ever. The only way they get around that is being able to play an Omnimon outright. And that just adds a chance for us to go all the way back to almost RagnaLoardmon. So now they have 2 threats to deal with, because after they kill the RagnaLoardmon, we're getting another one back. So keep that in mind. Like, the deck does do more of a slow, control-y type build. Moving forward, we have MetalGreymon. Like I said, the Greymon and the MetalGreymon both have abilities that I was just like, they're so good. 8 to play normally, 3 to evolve, 7k DP. He has Reboot himself. I miss this all the time, and I forget to say this on my videos. He has Reboot. He also says during our turn, if this Digimon, or Inheritable skill, during our turn, if this Digimon has Reboot, security attack +1. So our RagnaLoardmon actually has security attack 3 instead of just 2. and he has jamming on top of that, and it will have Pierce and Blocker. Just so many different abilities that we can add to the Ragnalordmon, and he becomes overbearing at some points. Moving forward, we have our RagnaLoardmon. 6 to play normally, 3-2 evolve, 7 KDP. Inheritable skill, when we attack, if this Digimon is level 7, D-Digivolve 1 on one of our opponent's Digimon. Just like Ludomon, these two Digimon just control the game out for us. We try to keep our opponents from going anywhere too fast, and like if they go anywhere too fast, then we try to shut them down as quickly as possible. Moving forward, in the previous version or the red version, I had a hard time saying these, so BryweLudramon, I hope I said that right. He's 10 to play normally, 3 to evolve on a black or red Digimon, 12,000 DP, blocker as an inheritable skill. Like there's only 2 level 6s in the game that give inheritable skills. This is one of them, and the other one is the next card. So like it gives blocker. With Ragnalordmon having reboot and being able to give him power on our during our opponent's turn kind of thing, we're able to block a lot of stuff. We're able to untap after we swing. We're able to be aggressive and defensive with just one Digimon. It's always just the one fun thing that we can do. Next up, we have Durandamon. 10 to play normally, 3-2 evolve on a black or a red, 12,000 DP. Inheritable skill gives piercing to the level 7. Also, I should go back. Legend Arms. Ludomon, RagnaLoardmon, Duramon, because I don't know how that BryweLudramon, Durandamon. All these are Legend Arms. Oh, and something I didn't mention in the last video. I'm going to go ahead and do this because I'm going to forget. Ragnalordmon is a Legends Arm Digimon. So if you turn over to Legends Arm for your Zubamon or your Ludomon, you actually can add both of them to your hand because he is still a Legend Arm. I did want to point that out because that might have been missed, and I didn't want that to be missed. But yeah, Durandamon gives Pierce, so we're able, like I said, to block and be able to pierce. Moving forward, our Ragnalordmon, 14 play normally, which we're never going to do. 3-2 evolve on a red or a black Digimon, 14k power. So security attack +1, reboot, when we Digivolve, by adding one of the level 6s, I'm not going to go through their names, from your hand to the top of this Digimon's Digivolution sources, get +3 memory. Now, I didn't say this in the last video, I need to say this in this video. If you don't have one of the level 6s to put, now you can put the same one, it's not going to do anything, but you can put the same one. So if you have a Durandamon, as your level 6 and you're evolving into Ragnalordmon, and you have another of that card in your hand, you can put it in his Digivolution source to still activate the ability. It doesn't say one or the other, whichever one you're not. But if you can't get this ability off, it is no longer +3 memory. You have to put one or you get nothing. I wanted to make sure I said that because it is very, very important. So yeah, we're going to move forward to our last card. It is an option card. That was a good time. 4 to play normally. Security effect adds this card to a hand. Or the main effect, we did Digivolve 1 off of one of our opponent's Digimon, and if that Digimon's play cost is 4 or lower afterwards, we destroy it. So this allows us to get rid of threats while we're still trying to get up to Ragnalordmon. Now, some tips on this deck, because like I'm kind of done with it now. Some tips with these decks. Now, none of these Digimon, none of these Legend Arms, none of these inheritable skills like the Greymon, the MetalGreymon, and if I go back, like the Greymon and the Duramon and the ZubaEagermon, like all these Digimon, they don't have on-play abilities. They just give inheritable skills. One thing I see a lot of people doing when I'm watching gameplay, don't move your Digimon up. The only Digimon that you're getting abilities off of when you play them is the Zubamon and the Ludomon, but you're playing them, you're not Digivolving them. And Ragnalordmon. Don't move up your Digimon from the Digitamon until you're ready to go into RagnaLoardmon. Because if you move it up too early, you're losing card advantage. Like, if you know you have the ride, right? Like, you have all the Digivolution sources you need, you're ready for this. That's when you start working on it. Don't start trying to work on it and then try to figure it out on the... No, you play the game as normal. The RagnaLoardmon closes out the game for you. They don't... They don't win just because you went into them. Like, you can still get Terra forced in the black deck. I mean, you still technically be forced in the red deck, but like, you can still be Terra forced. You can still be Chaosis spread. Like, keep that in mind. Like, those still happen. You want to be able to get your RagnaLoardmon out and be able to do as much damage as possible with it with as minimal effort. You don't want to have to work to try to get to that RagnaLoardmon and keep moving a bunch of Digimon up. No. Don't try to go into him when you're at a level 4 like a blocker and you're just trying to, like, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have it, keep it in the Digitamon. Don't move him up until you're ready to evolve him. Now, that's also to say we should not evolve him in the Digivolution zone because we don't get that on Digivolve skill. But we can keep him back whenever we have it. We can keep it back and go into it. That way, nobody can go, well, Terra Force it, or Chaosis Breath, or Trump Sword it, or Omnimon kill it. Like, that's not going to happen because we have the RagnaLoardmon back, and we're forcing them to make awkward plays because they know they can deal with it, but they won't be able to deal with it until we move it up and do our damage that we want to do with it. But that's all I got to say. Without further ado, that's the 2 decks. I hope you guys have a good holidays, regardless where you are in the world, whatever you guys do for your holidays, whatever religion you believe in, whatever it is, happy holidays. I love you guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and comment. Let me know how you guys like to build your RagnaLoardmons. Tell me your deck list. I love communicating with you guys. Nobody ever talks to me on this channel, so please talk to me. And subscribe. Every little subscription helps, and every subscription adds you to the dummy army. But yeah, without further ado, peace.